holding here has the potential to help save 10 million lives.
Unicorn Hunters.
Esta hora hablamos de Unicorn Hunters.
Unicorn Hunters is looking for that next billion-dollar idea from entrepreneurs.
We're searching for that billion-dollar business, a unicorn.
RUV Technologies has developed Krypton disinfection lighting.
Forte is a tech company that enables gyms to create a digital experience.
The CVAC system is an air vacuum chamber.
Mechanical trees solve climate change.
Our technology now has the ability to predict health outcomes and save lives.
What concerns me, your lack of ambition. 70 million in 3 years, that's not much.
I love supporting small business, but is this a big enough market?
To what degree it's a personal cost for you, and to what degree it's business? Why aren't you already a unicorn?
Your gross revenue was $126,000. How are you going to increase that for 2021? Do you see yourself on the acquisition path in the near term, or do you prefer to take this company to IPO?
That out-of-pocket cost is not a reality.
This is the time of our lives.
Order! Order!
This show has a very good chance of changing the world. We got to get down to business.
You'd actually make rather a good prime minister.
I think we're looking at the next Elon Musk.
Everyone is going to benefit.
I must show you one more thing.
There's more?
This sounds like a labor-intensive business model.
Why are you doing this? So what's your why?
How many women work at Vastmindz, and how are you including them?
I like a lot of things about it.
But before you get too cocky,
I don't know if people are going to invest.
this didn't go as expected.
The best presentation I've yet to see at Unicorn Hunters, by far.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
I'm in.
I'm definitely in.
And I'm going to invest.
Let's go, Nick. Let's go, Nick.
Can I call my mom?
I would like to say that I'm calm.
Now, if we look at one disease in particular, cardiovascular disease.
You can prep for hours, for weeks, for months, and it all comes down to this one moment. And that's really what kicks up the nerves.
All right, let's do it.
Personally, this is probably one of the biggest opportunities of my life.
Take that. 3, 2.
Stepping into the circle of money is London native Nick Segal, who, at the tender age of 30, used his own technology to build an empire worth $80 million. With the simple objective of changing the global healthcare imbalance for everyone with a smartphone, this young visionary is bringing a prospective medtech unicorn to the circle of money.
Okay, stand by. Go.
I'm Nick Segal. I am the founder and CEO of Vastmindz, and I am passionate about improving health and wellness around the world. Now, too many people are dying of preventable diseases, and global prevention must be a priority. Vastmindz is solving this by democratizing access to health and wellness data in an innovative way. Now, if we look at one preventable disease in particular, cardiovascular disease, this disease is responsible for killing one person every 36 seconds and is expected to cost the global economy over $1 trillion by the year 2030. Therefore, understanding risk factors associated with this disease, such as simple physiological changes, in an easy and accessible way is essential. Unfortunately, many people can't do this without the use of costly physical devices. But the one thing many people do have, however, is a smartphone. Vastmindz technology works on any device with an embedded camera and utilizes artificial intelligence to monitor an individual through the lens of that camera. Specifically, we measure subtle changes in light absorption on an individual's skin that is reflective of their physiological condition. Meaning, we can extract their resting pulse rate, their respiratory rate, their stress levels, and other factors in seconds without even touching them. This is all possible because we exploit the phenomenon that the human skin is translucent, meaning that visible wavelengths of light can penetrate the skin, and we can extract this vital information without any contact whatsoever. Now, not only am I the founder and CEO of this company, I'm also one of the lead engineers, so I'm excited to show you how this technology works. Now, who out of the panelists would like to help me in demonstrating this technology?
I'll do it.
All right, Rosie, I'm going to get you.
Go for it.
Ladies first, of course. Now, Rosie, I want you just to rest the phone, make sure your face is centered, and press start whenever you're ready. Now, what you're about to see is our application measures subtle changes in light absorption on Rosie's skin. And in a few seconds, we'll be able to extract her physiological signal that will tell us about her pulse rate, her respiratory rate, and other physiological parameters in just seconds. And this is without any contact whatsoever. We can see that pulse rate is 90. It looks like you're a bit nervous, Rosie. But don't worry, I got you. I'm going to just take that back off you. I don't want to spoil the whole thing. But as you can see, our technology now has the ability to extract this information about any individual, no matter where they are in the world. Our B2B model offers a low-cost SaaS solution to enable companies to remotely put this technology in the hands of millions of users. And we want this in the hands of millions more. So I'm seeking $10 million at a $60 million pre-money valuation. These funds will be used to scale our engineering team, onboard new customers aggressively, accelerate R&D of new product lines to support different industries, including the pet health and wellness industry. And before I founded Vastmindz, I spent time as an algorithmic trader, attempting to make algorithms smarter at predicting investment decisions. But ultimately, I was drawn to the ability to be able to predict health outcomes, save lives, and democratize access to health and wellness data in the same way that Unicorn Hunters is seeking to democratize investment. Now, I started this company with my own money, so there's no doubt I am all in. So I hope you, the panelists, and the viewers around the world will join us, Vastmindz, as we change the future of health and wellness. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, well, since I'm the first one, that was the guinea pig here.
Yeah.
So what did you learn from that about me?
So I learned that your resting pulse rate was a little bit higher than normal. Your respiratory rate was okay. Your stress level was also okay. Your physiological signal looked okay. There was no irregularity there. So it looks like you're good, Rosie.
Wait till you get to know her.
Oh, I can't wait.
Normal's good, I'll take it.
You know, Nick, I'm going to put on my lawyer hat for just a second. You think that your product here is subject to frivolous abuse in an abusive manner?
An airline company we're talking to actually thought of a use case of measuring the stress levels of individuals coming to customs. But ethically, I thought that's not really a right use case to pursue for this product. This product is about allowing anyone to access their own health and wellness data. We don't really want to tinker with the ethical bounds of triaging individuals because their stress levels are high.
You're trying to reach everyone. You want it to be low cost and easy to use.
Low cost
and we sort of saw a demonstration of that.
Exactly.
Is there always a doctor involved? Does the device actually notify a doctor if something's wrong?
So there's actually various use cases. So if we look at telehealth applications, so whereby I can have a call with a doctor virtually, we can actually integrate our software remotely within those applications so that before I speak with a doctor, I'm able to take a scan of my physiology. Not only that, I'm able to store historical information about my physiology so we can understand what is your physiological baseline, what is Steve's regular resting pulse rate, what is his regular resting respiratory rate, because that is far more important than just a snapshot of your physiology.
Oh, I think, Mr. Speaker, you might have a question from your hometown,
My
Nick,
hometown.
of London, Speaker Burkow.
It's great to have you here, Mr. Speaker.
Nikhil, thank you. And I would say that your initial evaluation of Rosie, that all's good here, seems to me to be emblematic of your toolkit to become a professional politician if you don't become a unicorn. Well, I was quite struck by the fact that you talked about how you were at least in part motivated by your opposition to racial bias. Are you essentially saying that existing apps or technology, not necessarily deliberately but inadvertently, do discriminate against people who are not of white skin? And what is it about your technology that will avoid that danger?
One of the things that existing devices may suffer from is sometimes the inability to effectively pick up these signals from individuals of darker skin tone. This is something one of our clinical advisors, he's also a governing board member at Stanford University, he says that existing, even if they are FDA approved, suffer from some kind of racial bias because individuals of darker skin, like myself, we have a higher melanin concentration. Typical devices which only look at one point on the skin, let's say either a pulse oximeter, which only looks at your finger, they can sometimes suffer if there's a high level of melanin concentration on the skin. One of the things we benefit from is spatial redundancy. The face is a lot of a larger surface area. We can actually grid the face into multiple sensors. So there's multiple points to pick from the face which could exhibit a better physiological signal. The fact that we benefit from spatial redundancy increases the probability that we're able to pick up this physiological signal.
In one of your responses, you referenced to FDA-approved devices.
Yes.
Does your software has to be FDA-approved?
Yes.
Have you done international legal research to be a subject of government approval?
Yes, FDA approval is necessary. And actually, we already have two individuals on our team who are our clinical advisors, George Sarkis and Dr. George Woods. George Sarkis has actually taken multiple products through the FDA process. We've already secured an agreement with Crestwood Behavioral Health, which is one of California's largest mental health-related services. Not only will it give us the opportunity to be reimbursed by insurers, but it opens up a new revenue stream of penetrating the public healthcare market and being able to make a medical diagnosis using our technology.
Did you mention animals like pets?
Yes, so we have actually recently launched a new product called BioPulse. This is a way that we can extract the respiratory rate variability of a pet just by analyzing a video of them sleeping. And this came about because the pet insurance market is growing, and the only way to currently monitor your pet is through wearable devices. Individuals now have the superpower to analyze their pet just through video. And what we do is, by analyzing a sleeping pet, we can lock onto certain parts of the body which are exhibiting respiratory motion and understand their respiratory rate variability. 75% of senior dogs suffer from heart disease. What's the number one way to catch if your pet is on the trajectory to suffering from heart disease? Monitoring an increase in respiratory rate.
Nikhil, so you mentioned democratizing access to healthcare, and this resonates enormously with me. Who is your client? Is your client an insurance company, or government, development banks? How do you plan to use your technology to make sure that people in less developed countries have access to these kind of services?
Our clients are typically telehealth applications, so a platform where users can log on and connect to a doctor virtually. We've already secured deals in Nigeria, Singapore, and other parts of the Asia Pacific where you have developing regions and people generally don't have much access to healthcare. But now they have the ability through a virtual platform to understand their physiology and send this physiology to their users.
So Nick, let's get into the numbers.
Yes.
You're a numbers person, but something doesn't seem to add up for me here. So you have your current valuation at $60 million. Your pre-show investment was $2 million, but your gross revenue in 2020 was $60,000. How'd you get to that $60 million valuation?
So actually, that was in 2020. So we've actually just started commercializing this financial year of 2021. So typically, when we engage with a business, we charge them about $15,000, which supports access to our software development kit and integration with their platform. And then typically, this is out in the open for all of their users to use. And we charge per reading, or as we call from a technical background, per API request, which is typically about 30 cents. Now, for the financial year of 2021, we came to eclipse $500,000 by scaling within telehealth companies and health insurance. Now, that excludes some of our big hits. Now, those big hits include large insurance companies with a large amount of policyholders. And one example, we're actually talking to a large insurance company in the Asia Pacific, and they have 10 million policyholders on their platform. So if all of those policyholders were able to just use our service just once a month at 30 cents a reading, that's on average an annual contract deal of $36 million.
Amen to that. So on that note, we are right now being watched by millions of people around the globe. But I want to welcome one of our celebrity investors right here in Los Angeles from the championship team, Los Angeles Lakers, Dwight Howard.
Hey Nick, how you doing, man? I love your pitch. Wow. I just have a couple questions for you. Being a pro athlete is always about setting goals. So for you, what is your goal? And in the end, what is your championship? What are you trying to accomplish? For me, in everything I do, I try to find a reason, my why of doing it. So what's your why?
It's more of a personal thing. Cardiovascular diseases run in my family. My granddad unfortunately passed away because of a cardiovascular condition. My dad's brother actually had a heart attack. My dad was close to that, so it runs in my family. And if I can find a way to improve the quality of life of my loved ones, then there is nothing that's going to stop me. And if we can become a unicorn doing it, because everyone wants to improve the quality of life of their loved ones, then that's just a big bonus for us.
Nick, thank you so much. I love your answer. Oh my God, this sounds like a slam dunk. Good luck, congratulations for your company, man, and I'll be rooting for you. Let's go, Nick.
Let's go, Nick. Let's go, Nick. Let's go.
Let's go, Nick. I got you, Dwight.
Nikhil, do you see any other applications in healthcare or otherwise which you'd like to pursue?
Yes, one actually in the automotive space. A lot of these new cars have smart sensors on their dashboards to monitor driver fatigue. So they already have the hardware necessary for us to deploy our technology. Toyota have done a lot of research on cars to predict cardiac arrests.
Wow.
And now we have actually the ability to understand what's happening beneath the driver's skin. So this is an unconventional space that we're also looking to pursue.
Do we not have to be slightly careful that we don't have, to put it bluntly, companies have got an interest only in taking on very, very, very healthy people and preventing job opportunities to people who might not be particularly healthy?
Yeah, absolutely. And really, this is all about providing access to those individuals who potentially might not even be able to be insured. But if we're able to remotely monitor their physiology over time, then insurers have peace of mind because they're able to assess their risk. But we're providing them an opportunity to attract new business.
Oh.
This is actually a way to be more inclusive rather than exclusive.
So just as Unicorn Hunters has found an innovative way to include John today as a panelist, we also have included a global investor who would like to ask us a question.
Hi, my name is Kendra Okereke, and I'm from Vancouver, Washington. How does this democratize healthcare when you need a doctor or a healthcare provider to use the software, and disenfranchised people tend to not have either?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's all about enabling healthcare applications who connect, let's say, users like myself to a doctor, but enabling them with more information. Now, there are some parts of the world which cannot access doctors, but I don't need to be in physical contact with the doctor anymore. I can actually be effectively triaged virtually.
I don't want to be in any way disrespectful, but you are relatively young. Who are you surrounding yourself with?
Whilst I am young, we had a partnership with the National Physical Laboratory, and we were selected as an individual where they would grant resources of their senior scientists to help us develop our product. Now, some of our advisors are highly reputable scientists. In fact, Professor Mel Lobo. He's one of the leading hypertension specialists in London. And these are the kinds of people I need to surround myself with to help support me in my learning and our business as we hope to scale.
If there are no more questions, then I'd like to ask you to please step outside the circle of money so that we can deliberate and talk behind your back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am just hoping the panel sees that we have a tool that could really help a lot of people. If we don't get the investment today, it would really mean a slower trajectory path for us. So it would really mean a lot if we were to be backed by the unicorn hunters today. One person who probably understands my struggle is the Woz. He was a young engineer himself. He had to do everything. To have that sort of impact on Woz and make him actually shed a tear while showing one of our products that could support the quality of life of pets. I can't even describe having that impact on the Woz. It's out of this world.
Okay, guys, are we ready to talk some business?
Yeah. I was inspired. I thought he was seriously impressive. I would say he's visionary and determined, but he's also ready to learn. He's a good communicator and he talks the talk and I think he can walk the walk, but he's also a good listener and he's ready to bring people into the team who will help him crystallize his plan from conception to executions.
I have some concerns. I'm a little worried about what Rosie asked, which was, you really haven't penetrated the market very much yet. And so I don't know that we have a complete proof of concept.
Yeah. I didn't think he answered my question about the $60 million valuation. You can't just throw out, there's a potential for this $36 million recurring revenue. That's not the way you get to a valuation. Yeah. But I kind of think of him as a kind of a startup. He's really at the initial stages.
Yeah, and I have to agree with Rosie and Mo. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He has everything that he needs to have to be successful as an entrepreneur. He's thinking big, but acting disproportionately big considering the stage of his company. So he's a little bit all over the places in terms of market expansion.
I heard him very much as an engineer looking at all the right details in the right way. He had an instant answer to every one of our questions.
Yes.
What engineer can communicate that well? It's very unusual. He was on top of everything going on in his business, and that's a very good thing to start with.
Yeah, this is exactly the type of founder I would love to invest in.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned with the marketing behind this because I think this is a marketer's dream because it's so visual. It's all about the face. So if you imagine Jennifer Aniston being the face of this and you just see her face being analyzed, boom, everyone's going to know about this pretty quickly.
Well, it's one of those rare moments when I disagree. Yes, he is in early stages, but that's exactly what's reflected in the low valuation now. Because right now, unicorns appear at a much higher pace. Investors recognize potential in companies early enough and provide funds sufficient to do the expansion.
He had $60,000 of gross revenue in 2020. That is pretty early.
But you know, Rosie, revenue is only one way to determine valuation.
No, absolutely. No, well, that was for him to explain, though.
I agree. There are a myriad of ways to determine valuations.
Silvina, Rosie, I just wonder whether either of you would be reassured if he were to buttress his project with somebody with a strong commercial footprint as a consultant or a non-executive director. I'm sure that the ethics of the program prohibit it, but what he needs is the equivalent on his board to guide and counsel him of the Woz.
Well, that will be very, very hard to replicate. But
No, okay, I take your point.
But I think there are better alternatives even than I. Shall we bring him back?
Yeah, let's
do it.
Okay.
So, Nick, you did a great job, and you now have 60 seconds to impress the rest of our global investors.
We believe everyone should possess the superpower to understand what's going on beneath their skins and within their bodies. And we finally now have the ability to put this superpower in the palms of everyone's hands. Now, I took a bet. I plunged my life savings. I took a bet on myself, a bet that I was able to learn fast, deliver innovative solutions to a population in need of these. So there was never, and still is not, an option to fail. And only in a short period of time, we've amassed a team of highly reputable scientists, medical professionals, and partnered with some large organizations globally. And we're just getting started. So I hope you and the viewers around the world will help our mission in changing the future of health and wellness.
And now it's time for our final thoughts, Nick.
Every answer you had was really understandable and on the mark. That impressed me, because not many engineers have that skill.
Thank you, I really appreciate that.
I cried a little about dogs.
Oh, well, we're here to save them.
Yes.
You had me at dogs also, but before we give our final verdicts, I'd like to know your vitals right now. I want to see how your heart rate is doing in this circumstance. So can we measure that?
Let's do it.
I want to do it.
The
okay.
moment of truth.
All right.
Great.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
You're really taking a selfie that you're going to sell now.
What if two faces get into it?
One of them.
Heart rate is 150, just looking over there at Rosie.
Wow.
Whoa. Oh, it's up there
Thank
though.
So 90 wasn't so bad, was it, Nick?
I'm pretty nervous, I'll tell you that, guys.
Obviously you are,
He's at
yeah.
131.
Maybe
This is the first kind of thing for me to do, so...
There's your face of Rosie.
Maybe 150 is low for you.
Then that'll probably go down.
Not even over
Let's
yet.
see if it lowers now.
There we go.
Nick, I like your vision. I really think this concept is really great. Couple of things. You are a very young startup. I think you can probably use a lot more traction. Hopefully you'll get that. Concerned about your liquidity milestones. That's just something to think about, especially when you're in the investor stage. And your background in math and economics is perfect for what you do. Partnering that with the medical community, I think you'll be well on your way.
Thank you so much, Rosie.
I love the vision. I am a little concerned about the big of the opportunity and how spread you are at this stage of the business. But I also have fear of missing out.
This is exactly why we need the funds. We know exactly what we need to do to make sure we don't spread thin.
Nick, look, I've got some concerns. All of them were addressed so eloquently by you. I cannot wait to watch you soar.
You know, Nikhil, one of the most common cliches in the investment world is we invest in people, not in technology. I always disliked that cliche because who would invest in Google if there were no technology? But here, this cliche is sometimes applicable, and you impressed me just as the rest of the panel.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Nikhil, you're a good guy with a great idea and the capacity to translate an idea into reality. But I turn now to the was, because the time has come for his verdict.
Very simple. I am in.
Thank you so much, Steve. It means a lot.
I love you. This is exactly why this show exists, to be able to democratize health and democratize investment. So I am definitely in.
Thank you, Lance. I'm right there with you.
Nick, if you're Superman, I'm glad I wore my cape today. So I'm in.
Thank you so much, Rosie.
Joining the lady next to me, so I'm in.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Nick, honestly, by far, in my eyes, the best presentation I've yet to see at Unicorn Hunters.
Wow,
by far. I am unequivocally 150 billion %,000% in, Nick.
Thank you so much, Merv.
Nikhil, I'm definitely in.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Nikhil, without hesitation or qualification, I'm in.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So Nick,
Thank you.
you got 7 unanimous votes. You are a golden unicorn.
Thank you so much.
7 out of 7.
I was surprised to actually get unanimous votes. I have probably got the biggest boost of motivation that anyone could have possibly ever given me.
Wait, I have something for you. Hold on,
oh, yeah.
hold on.
Oh, yeah.
This is your lucky $2 bill.
Just for the record, I'm getting a live signature from Rosie Rios.
Wow.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is not going anywhere. This shows some form of validation that they actually believe in our mission and my passion in scaling this company.
So proud of you.
Thank you so much. There's nothing that will stop us now. Alex, thank you so much. Mr. Speaker.
Nikhil, can I give you a virtual handshake?
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I'll see you back home,
Just
my friend.
as warm.